Well, as we know, the Fed cut interest rates last week, but exactly what normally has happened, rates went up. Everything was baked in. So what everybody was paying attention to was the commentary by Chairman Powell. And when he said that the December rate cut is not a given, it threw people all over the place, including markets. And so the 10-year Treasury bond went up a little bit, then rates followed, and it's continued this week. At least it's held on to the losses from last Wednesday, and so that's where we are. It's only an eighth higher than where it was last week, but it's not as good as last week. So, yeah, but still in the same level.
So we've still got a huge likelihood that by the March 18th meeting, we see 2 more quarter-point cuts.
Yes.
Is that baked in now, or do you think there's room?
I think it's not baked in until we get closer to the next, like within a few weeks.
December meeting.
Yeah,
right?
just.
And then we don't meet again until February?
Correct.
So basically it won't bake until after December?
Well, I think the point is this. How many times have we been wrong, as the market been wrong about future rate cuts? A lot.
Yeah.
Okay? And what I don't want the narrative to become is that, just wait till after Mardi Gras. Like, the deals right now are really good. Like, it is still a buyer's market, but we're seeing signs that shifting. We're going to go through some data in a minute and show you that some of these numbers are starting to turn. And look, I don't love being in front of turning data, but I think it's a great thing to share to your clients. Okay, because we could get to Mardi Gras and all of a sudden we're in a very balanced market, and it's kind of a letdown because people are feeling like they can price things the way they want to again, and the deals are gone. And what, all to save $50 a month on an interest rate payment? Like, not a lot.
Save just by negotiating because...
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. So I think over the next several weeks, especially if we can get lucky and the government reopens, I think we're just missing a lot of data in this business right now.
We don't do that anymore.
And so I think as more data comes in, it'll compel the Fed to cut interest rates. That's my belief. I have nothing to stand on other than I speak to a lot of folks outside of this market, and
Because
the job market is weak. Right? Yeah, it is weak.
And I think there's a lot of announcements right now about cutting jobs. And when a handful of big public companies say they're cutting jobs, there's pressure on all the other ones to say, we're cutting jobs too.
Yeah. So that's going to add up.
Yep.
I think so.
Quickly.
Not for December, then at least for...
Yep. Okay. All right, John. By the way, the signs. We've had another, the special financing signs that you can get. We still have some available that people can get.
Yes.
We've evolved the QR code again to make it even more user-friendly. If you want the third generation of QR codes, see us and we can get those for you. Like, yes. I brought my signs back today to trade some out.
Better lead capture.
Much better lead capture.
Easy.
Yeah, and other than that, I don't know, the announcement's going to come about the paper bags?
We'll do it in a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll take that from you.
Appreciate it. Okay. So we have a scheduling issue with our guests. Before we had a last-minute guest edition yesterday, we were going to do this anyway, but we were going to make sides. We didn't make sides. But what? Oh, well, here's the real story. Okay. It was supposed to be the Hanno lady. There's a New Orleans budget crisis, as we all know, and she was called to city council chambers. I'm not going to give her crap for that.
That's legit.
So then there happened to be a lucky text from a buddy in the DA's office, Andre Godin, who is the chief of screening, who's really responsible for implementing the turnaround in that office. And I thought it'd be interesting to hear him talk. He's going to be running for judge. But anyway, we had a little, I think there was confusion with it being next day. And I probably didn't follow through as much as I should because I was focused on ALC and not on that. So I apologize. But there's really interesting market data we need to talk about.
Very good
I mean, there's a very good.
You know, we're trying to help our guests get in and out because some of them are like, sorry, I was late because I had to park like 3 blocks away. Okay. Cody?
All right, let's go through what's happening in the market. These are our typical slides. Of course, you can find them in Matrix. This is going to be your sales price over 3 years. The red line on all these slides are going to be the entire MLS, and the blue line is going to be Orleans.
I want to smooth this out because I don't think you get.
Yeah, so this is going to show you seasonality month by month. This is
Yeah.
over 12 months, which is kind of getting you to that area where everyone's talking about the market being flat, right?
Yeah.
And so this is over the course of 3 years. Orleans is exactly 0%.
From 3 years ago to now.
Yeah.
But look at our trend lines. We saw a nice little bump up around a seasonal bump here. Saw that. We came down a little bit. But we're still, like, we have always been. I keep an Excel sheet that I update periodically that goes back to the 50s for price appreciation. Orleans Parish New Orleans just rides that right under that 4% annual price appreciation line. We are reliable. We don't do what Florida. It does not look like the Florida condo market, the Miami condo market. Very, very different. That is volatile and nauseating, like a roller coaster at Busch Gardens. We are just a nice little engine that could, and I like seeing this nice, slow, steady for our region. It's good news. Maybe it's not the prettiest chart that you can find in the country, but it sure is.
I did a screenshot of one of these news articles that I saw that was like, New Orleans is like a felling market, or one of these like super crazy, and I'm like, where is this coming from? And part of it is we had such a big increase during COVID. The decrease, and this is what this one's really about, since 2022, we're one of the biggest markets that decreased since then, but it's because we went up. But this is the reality, right? We can all agree that MLS data is the reality of the market, as good as it gets.
Yep. I think the new listings number, falling. Not a ton, not off a cliff, but falling some. Same thing with the number of properties on the market. That is telling me really good things. If there's less to see, first of all, what does it say? It says that there's not all these people in terrible credit conditions, otherwise they'd be selling, right? So for the most part, the market's affording its mortgage. People are just like, I capitulate. I'm not going to sell because I can't get the price I want. Or they've come down enough and they've sold.
Since we're doing some of this live, can we zoom all the way out on this? Because I think this is where, some of this for context is important.
There you go.
Yeah. And so if we're talking about the number of homes for sale, if you're going way far back, you're at half the number of homes for sale, right? But if you're looking over here from 2014 forward, you're seeing movement across years, but it's pretty much the same market.
That's a really good perspective.
Right? And that's what some of these max slides will do. And since we're doing this live, we can jump back and forth a little bit easier.
So you feel the turn we were talking about? You're seeing it a little bit? Look, anecdotes are great, but data is better.
Yeah. But it's also interesting, the 2007 spikes there, right? That was 12,000 homes for sale in the MLS here. We've never gotten anywhere close to that after COVID. And Katrina.
I agree. That's a Katrina thing. And then you've got financial crisis. Look, just look at the 2008, 2009 homes for sale, okay, in 2009, these spikes, but pending sales didn't move at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like they were at lows.
Yep.
That's how when we're looking at things and trying to look for trends, those are the kinds of things you want to look for.
And pending
and
is really good as a super micro monthly measure. Really jump to the closed sales.
Yeah.
Because
go next. Moving up.
Looks the same, right? But you actually care about closing unless you're just trying to figure out, are we going to get this listing ever pending, which is where I feel right now, right? So this is the 1 year. We're actually up 6% for closed sales.
Yeah, because of the two lines, it doesn't show it very nicely. But,
right? So
it is.
does that make sense? So we can be flat on appreciation. So if the home's worth $400,000, it's still worth $400,000, right? But we're closing more houses, and this is why I think there's a little bit of energy in the room, right? I mean, 6% is pretty substantial. Nationally, closed sales, 4 million, right? We're going to
Yeah,
close
we're
out.
going to be like 4.1, 4.2 this year.
Yeah, we're going to close out this year around 4 million, which arguably is the bottom, the lowest that we'll ever see it. We had that last year, not the years before.
Yeah. And our market, I think it's like 4,500 sides, plus or minus a few hundred, that we're going to do this year, and it's been the same the last 2 years. This year will be better.
Yeah, projection for 2026 depends, who you talk to, who you look at, but it could be all the way up to 5 million, which would be a little bit more normal.
40 days on the market, I don't know if that's not that bad, y'all. I don't think that number is accurate, though.
Unsmooth this one, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Maybe by quarters will kind of give us a better idea of how you feel about it, right? Because there has been a bit of a roller coaster of days on market based on seasonality and based on just general market stuff. So if you're in here, there was a bit of a selling season, right, which we experience oddly in the summer, unlike a lot of markets. And then we have some days on market that's increasing, and now we're seeing a small dip again.
So I want to change this, and I want to look at $1 million and up. Because who thinks that market is a little bit different? Oh, come on. Really? Custom. 1 million. Done. Give me $1 million or more. So Orleans Parish, it's actually 67 days. It's actually more. I bet you if we go up to 2 million, it falls almost. But that actually feels about right. I don't think that that's terrible. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we actually pull this data in a very purposed way, what we saw is in the luxury market, homes that actually got listed were selling a lot quicker. And so less days on the market. I mean, there are a lot of luxury homes are, I think, arguably being sold off market. I think, Tina, you and I have certainly talked a lot about that anecdotally. But there's still a higher demand for those luxury homes than we've seen with other properties. I mean, it's that middle market that seems to be a little bit of the tough one. So, homes under 400,000 seem to be moving, and it's that 400 and a million is more sticky right now.
So remember we were talking about 9 months of inventory?
Yeah.
We've come way back off that. I think this is a major health indicator of our market.
Walk us through. So this.
Well, 8.3.
So this is max.
6.1 for the entire MLS.
This
says we were at 10.9. I don't remember being at 10.9. I remember it being 9-ish.
It was. I saw some portions of the market 13 months at some point. Like some neighborhoods, some segments.
But look what a difference a year makes.
Do 1 year, and you're just going to see this thing fall off, right?
Right. It feels better.
23% decline, right, in Orleans.
What's a balanced market? Who remembers?
6.
Yeah, 6. Buyer's market above, seller's market below, and the farther away from that.
3 to 6 balance, right? Is that?
No, 6 is kind of the median, and then if it's only one above, it's a little bit of a buyer's or seller's market. Yeah.
Leaning,
Yeah.
heading a bit.
So
This is the thing, though. This is more important than I think all of it.
Because what do the other slides not show us? Demand, right? No other slide that we're going to show you is really true demand, but the only way that you affect your inventory, your months of inventory, is how many people are buying versus, how many homes are for sale. And so it doesn't make full sense to me. It doesn't quite feel like we have this strong demand, but this is where you would see it.
Couldn't some of that be thrown off by people withdrawing and putting it back on the market as a new listing with a
But I would argue that they were probably doing that in the previous market I don't. It's an interesting point. I think you'd have to go really deep on like trying to prove that.
All right, and I always like this number. This number is, you have to remember, this is of the final list price. This isn't of the first list price. That's a whole nother thing to track. But 3%, you're going to land within 3%. So really, that's a great thing to tell your client. Like, we can't, if we're not within 3%, we're just not going to get a deal done.
Yeah, I've seen.
If we haven't lowered your price to the ballpark that they want to be in, which is about 3%, then we're not going to get someone to come buy your house.
It's a really cute marketing play too. I've seen agents in other markets use where I'm such a good listing agent, I get it at 97% of list price, almost every time. That's my average, which frankly almost everybody does.
Yeah.
This is only fluctuating up and down a 1.5%.
So then let's look at our volume and we'll zoom out. Yeah, let's go bigger. Oh, let's smooth it out. So volume's ticked up as well. So total sales, we felt that as well.
Yeah, and some of this is going to be your appreciation, right? And so over time, you're going to, see that. So your volume's going to be higher. Ultimately, we all care about this because if our commission's a percentage of the volume.
Yeah, and there's just more transacting. Period. I mean, there's more units. There's more volume. That's what we need. All right. Shows to pending. This is up. 6 showings.
Are we at 3?
We were at like 3.
Yeah.
So that's good news. That means people are going to see more properties. More buyers out there, more action happening. At least more bookings of them on showing time.
Yeah. That's really the
Who owns showing time?
Zillow.
Thank you. See rant at the beginning of meeting. All right, Cody, any thoughts you want to leave with?
No, we also have the tab for trading economics if you want to
love
dive
that.
into a
Thank
couple.
you. Cody, what do you think is going to cause the government shutdown to end? You haven't gotten paid as a member of our military.
It is the stories of people not getting paid that tend to get the calls to congressmen that at one point make some sort of push and switch over. The interesting part about this shutdown is the intervention of getting people paid still, right? So like active duty military was usually a big threshold, and then like we went and found money to pay active duty military. And then what you saw with SNAP benefits. SNAP benefits have never been paid in the past, but the ruling this past week was, the Department of Agriculture needs to use all their contingency money to pay SNAP benefits as much as they can, right? And so the administration is following that. So some of what is normal pain at 35 days is not felt. And I watched the 60 Minutes interview with the president, and it's like, it's still pretty damn stone cold. Like it doesn't seem to be a movement now until like there's some really sad stories. Interesting, Department of Transportation, really split ways with the administration, which to me is like kamikaze suicide. And he's like, we can't continue on. We're going to close a lot of airspace.
Yeah.
That is good.
I was going to say, I think that's mine.
With the holidays coming,
Yep.
Also,
it's
the
bad
elections
now.
last night.
I can only imagine.
Yep.
Yes,
yep.
this
So-
picture of people queued outside of the Houston airport yesterday into the departures lanes, that I think is what's got a lot better shot than children starving, unfortunately.
Well, because
Does it affect everyone?
Yeah.
Last Sunday, I flew in at 3:30 in the afternoon. The line was all the way up the escalator.
In New Orleans?
Yeah, to where you come in and check in at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
On a
It's
Sunday?
On a Sunday.
the only bad design of our airport is that the queue was never long enough.
Wasn't meant to be a long line.
Yeah, it was never meant to be a long line.
Luckily, it's
And we're in
early.
New Orleans, so it's going to be a long line.
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
All right, so any questions about the market or things you're feeling that don't line up with the data we're showing you?
What's the message we send our clients?
I think great. Thank you for helping me bring that in for a landing. I think the message is now's the time to buy. Like we're seeing signs of the market turning. It is a healthy market.
They don't trust us. Like we've been saying that for 2 years now.
Well,
So show them the month supply. The whole thing, the best chart on here is the month supply, in my opinion. The fact that we rounded that and we're headed down, and look, we just hit Halloween. Holly, how's November looking? Now, granted, you all don't put your deals in command, and we would really well. And look, I'm going to tell you, we would have great data if y'all would be transparent with us and follow the rules. Right, which, like, we have so many transactions every month that if you just do what the rules are, then we would be able to give you a lot of intelligence in real time. Okay? So, it's not hard to submit your commissions. It's state law. So we didn't make up the rules. But if that, how are we looking? You told me some enheartening numbers.
November's numbers because
You said November had some good transaction count so far.
No.
Turned in.
We were talking about September and October. We have not transmitted October yet.
I understand where.
So I don't have.
We have a pending for November though. I think there's more transactions at this point for November than there usually are in the last few years. So that's interesting to me because what normally happens, Lana, is Halloween is like the faucet kind of turns off. Is that a fair comment? Like you had the bounce back from kids going back to school, and all those contracts have to get closed out. And really, once we get to Halloween, like we're already talking about Thanksgiving and Christmas and where we're going and all that bullshit. And it's
I would say this. I would say the way that you feel is not necessarily how non-real estate agents feel. I think it's a limiting belief, right? I think when you look at a chart that shows interest rates that we're at 7.8, right? It feels like a pretty good market. Stock market last week. Highest it's ever, all-time highs.
still all-time highs, even after a bad day yesterday.
We could argue all day whether you think a recession is coming or not for the rest of the people. I'm not sure that's what is in the head of everybody else, right? Probably the worst they feel is the price of groceries have gone up, but the message for this year has been they've stabilized. You know, our CPI, it's a stable 3%. Number, 3%. We said all of a sudden inflation, we don't care about 2%, we care about 3%, which has been for how many quarters now?
A number of them.
I think for most, it feels like a pretty good market right now, and now you're able to point to some real estate data that is showing some of those.